There is a massive deception circulating throughout the firearms community that almost nobody is willing to discuss openly. The giants of the gun manufacturing industry have spent decades trying to convince you of a singular, expensive falsehood. They want you to believe that if you aren't ready to drop thousands of dollars on a high-end platform, you might as well not show up to the range at all. But after years of putting these tools to the test, I can tell you from personal experience that I have seen entry-level shotguns priced at a mere $250 absolutely dominate tactical courses, outperforming prestigious competition models that cost 5 times as much when you are actually out there burning through live rounds under pressure. The logo on the receiver matters far less than the engineering inside. Our top selection today is a tool that costs less than what many people spend on a few months of digital subscriptions. Yet it is a platform that professional agencies trust with their very lives every single day. Even more shocking is the fact that one specific shotgun on this list actually shares its internal mechanical DNA with a tactical platform priced at $3,000. That massive price discrepancy isn't about quality or safety. It is almost entirely about branding and marketing fluff. This is the definitive guide to the top 10 budget shotguns that refuse to feel like cheap imitations. Before you make the mistake of overpaying for a name, you need to see what these workhorses can actually do. Have you ever stopped to consider if that extra $1,000 you replanning to spend is actually buying you more reliability or just a prettier box? While that compact bullpup design represents the future, sometimes the best answer is a piece of hardware that leans into traditional reliability without the traditional price tag. This brings us to number 9, the Stevens 320 Tactical. If you've ever wondered how low a price can actually go before the quality begins to evaporate, this is the answer. This isn't just a low-cost option. It's a direct challenge to the idea that security has to be expensive. The 320 Tactical features a standard 18.5-inch barrel, high-visibility ghost ring sights, and a capacity that handles both standard and magnum shells without missing a beat. Since Stevens is owned by Savage Arms, you are benefiting from a level of manufacturing quality control that is usually reserved for much more expensive hunting rifles. One of the standout features here is the rotary bolt design. It locks up with a level of precision that you simply don't expect at this price level. And the dual slide bars ensure that the pump stroke remains smooth and consistent. At 7 pounds, it has enough physical mass to absorb the heavy kick of a 12-gauge round, meaning you won't be nursing a bruised shoulder after just one box of shells. Let's look at the actual math of the value here. For about $249, you are getting a fully functional defense tool for the price of a few family dinners. There are field reports from budget-conscious security teams showing these guns running through over 5,000 rounds without a single major part failure. It isn't going to win any beauty pageants with its basic finish and simple polymer furniture. But when your clock strikes 2 in the morning and you hear a window break, do you want a showpiece or a tool that chambers around every single time you rack the slide? As we move up the list, we start to see how just a small increase in your budget can lead to a massive leap in overall capability. This brings us to number 8, the Benelli Nova. We've all heard the old cliche that you get what you pay for, but the Nova is the living exception to that rule. While Benelli is world famous for their high-end competition guns, the Nova takes that legendary Italian engineering and simplifies it into a pump-action powerhouse. The secret to its durability is the steel skeletal frame that is overmolded with a high-strength polymer. This creates a single-piece receiver and stock design that is virtually impossible to crack at the tips, which is usually the first place a cheap shotgun fails under pressure. This gun is built to handle 3.5-inch magnum loads that would literally rattle lesser firearms into a pile of spare parts. At 8 pounds, it is a substantial piece of hardware that tames the violent recoil of heavy waterfowl loads, making it a favorite for hunters who spend their days in the harshest environments on Earth. For about $445, you are buying into the Benelli legacy, without having to pay the Italian tax. If you are the type of person who drags their gear through saltwater marshes and muddy swamps, this is the gun for you. You can literally rinse this thing off with a garden hose and it will keep functioning because the polymer shell won't rust or corrode like traditional steel. It even features the ComfortTech recoil system, which uses integrated gel pads to cut the felt impact by nearly half. Have you ever considered how much better your follow-up shots would be if your gun was fighting against you with every pull of the trigger? What if you want the speed of a semi-automatic, but you've been told that cheap semi-autos are a recipe for disaster? Number 7. The Stoeger M3000 is here to prove the skeptics wrong. The internet is full of people claiming that a budget semi-auto will always jam. But the M3000 is the ultimate counter-argument. Here is the insider's secret. Stoeger is owned by the same parent company as Benelli. Because of that relationship, the M3000 utilizes the exact same inertia-driven operating system found in guns that cost 3 times as much. By using physics and the recoil of the shock to cycle the bolt, they've eliminated the need for a complex gas system that requires constant cleaning. There is no piston to get fouled up with carbon, and no gas rings to replace. At a price range of $600 to $700, you are essentially getting a professional-grade Italian engine inside a more affordable chassis. We are seeing more and more competitive 3-gun shooters choose this platform because it tracks incredibly fast between targets and cycles, faster than almost any gas-operated rival once you learn the technique. You do have to be a firm shooter if you don't shoulder it properly. The inertia system won't have enough resistance to cycle, but that isn't a flaw. It's just the nature of the machine. It even comes with a chrome-lined bore to handle the dirtiest surplus ammunition you can find. A price tag doesn't decide if the weapon goes bang, and the M3000 is proof of that every single day on the range. Continuing our look at semi-automatics, we have to talk about a gun that takes reliability to a professional level. Coming in at number 6 is the Beretta A300 Ultima. If you've been led to believe that a semi-auto can't handle extreme abuse, the A300 is going to change your mind. This is a gas-operated system built on an action that has been proven in the world of high-stakes competition. It features the blink gas system, which is designed to be self-regulating. This means you can load a light target shell, followed immediately by a heavy magnum load, and the gun will adjust itself automatically without you having to turn a single dial or swap a single part. It's a load-it-and-forget-it kind of tool. The value here really shines through when you look at the longevity. There are documented tests of these guns surpassing 25,000 rounds with nothing more than basic spring replacements. That is a level of reliability that many expensive luxury guns never even dream of reaching for under $900. You re-getting oversized controls that are easy to operate with gloved hands or in the pouring rain, which is a detail often overlooked by manufacturers who only design guns for sunny days at the range. Stop buying the brand and start buying the performance, because this Beretta delivers more per dollar than almost anything else in its class. Have you ever felt the confidence of a tool that you know will work regardless of the weather or the ammunition you feed it? Moving to number 5, we find the Winchester SX4. Winchester doesn't spend as much on flashy commercials as some other brands, but they have quietly engineered something in the SX4 that shatters expectations. The heart of this shotgun is the active valve gas system, which is engineered to cycle 36% faster than their previous models. That isn't just a marketing statistic. You can actually feel the speed in how quickly the bolt returns, allowing for lightning-fast follow-up shots. At only 6 3/4 pounds, it is light enough to carry across miles of rugged terrain during an all-day hunt. Yet the geometry of the Inflex technology recoil pad ensures that the muzzle rise stays under control. It is built specifically for the hunter who deals with mud, rain, and freezing temperatures, featuring aggressive grip textures and an enlarged trigger guard for use with heavy winter gloves. Whether you are aiming at high-altitude geese or trying to hit a fast-moving target in a competition, the SX4 provides a level of speed and magnum capability that usually costs a lot more than its $8-100- and $50- price point. It's a masterclass in functional design that prioritizes the shooter's experience over unnecessary frills. Now, let's talk about a true disruptor in the tactical market. Number 4 is the MAC 1014. This is a fascinating example of what happens when modern manufacturing reverse engineers a legendary combat icon. The MAC 1014 is a semi-auto tactical shotgun that is clearly inspired by the world-famous Benelli M4, but it is sold for a fraction of the cost. With an 18.5-inch barrel, ghost ring sights, and a pistol grip, it is built from the ground up for home defense and tactical roles. At a price between $350 and $500, this gun is causing a major stir. Let's be completely honest. The fit and finish won't match a $3,000 Italian masterpiece. But the core functionality is undeniably there. We've seen these guns survive intense tactical courses, running over 1,000 rounds of mixed buckshot and slugs without a single hitch. The finish might scratch a little easier, and the springs might need to be replaced sooner, but the gun cycles when it matters. It's the perfect choice for someone who needs a high-capacity tactical semi-auto, but doesn't have a professional operator's budget. It brings military-style capability to the average citizen in a way that simply was impossible a decade ago. We are now getting into the territory of true legends, and at number 3, we have the Mossberg 500. This isn't just a shotgun. It is a global standard for what a firearm should be. In production since 1961, with over 11 million units sold, the Mossberg 500 has been used by the U.S. military and law enforcement for decades. That kind of staying power isn't an accident. It happens because the design is fundamentally sound. The dual action bars prevent the pump from binding up under stress, and the ambidextrous safety mounted on the top of the receiver is widely considered the most intuitive design in the world. For around $700, you are buying a platform that can be completely transformed with an almost unlimited selection of aftermarket parts. You can turn it into a bird gun, a deer rifle, or a home defense powerhouse in a matter of minutes. Military testing has shown that a well-maintained 500 can exceed 50,000 rounds before any major components need to be replaced. It is the definition of a buy once, cry once tool that will likely be passed down to your grandchildren. But what if I told you that you could get almost that same legendary performance for even less? Number 2 is the Mossberg Maverick 88. Most people don't realize that the Maverick 88 is built on the exact same receiver design as the 500. It comes from the same factory and uses the same core engineering. The price savings come from moving the safety to the trigger guard and using a more basic, non-modular fore-end. But at its heart, it's the same reliable machine, for a price between $200 and $269. This is mathematically the best value per dollar pump shotgun in existence. It is the #1 choice for first-time buyers and families on a budget because it prioritizes what actually matters. Reliability. You aren't paying for fancy engravings or modular furniture. You're paying for a gun that goes bang every time you pull the trigger. Home defense instructors across the country recommend the Maverick 88 because they know that in a crisis, a simple, reliable tool is always better than an expensive, complicated one. Finally, we reach the #1 spot, the undisputed king of the budget-friendly legacy, the Remington 870. With over 12 million units produced since 1951, the 870 is the most successful pump-action shotgun in human history. It has been the primary choice for soldiers, police officers, and hunters for over 70 years. The secret is the solid steel receiver. While many modern guns use aluminum to save weight, the 870 is built out of a solid block of steel, ensuring it can survive generations of use in the harshest environments on the planet. The pump stroke is famously smooth, and the rotary bolt with dual extractors ensures that spent shells are cleared even in freezing Arctic temperatures or sandy desert heat. For a price between $400 and $480, you are buying a piece of history that remains the industry benchmark. whether you're using it for duty use or protecting your home. The 870's ability to handle different types of ammunition without hesitation is what makes it the top pick. These 10 shotguns prove that you don't need a massive bank account to own a world-class tool. Which of these surprised you the most? And if you've put thousands of rounds through one of these workhorses, we want to hear about your experience in the comments. Remember, the price tag doesn't win the fight. Your skill and the reliability of your tool are what truly matter when the stakes are high. If you want to see more deep dives like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Next week, we're re-looking at the best budget rifle optics under $200 that can actually hold a 0 through extreme abuse, and you won't want to miss that. Would you like me to find the current best online prices for any of the shotguns we discussed today?
Our growth potential is directly tied to our innovation.